Hi, everybody coming in. It's been a while, but hello, everybody. Thank you, Grace. Well, 12-12. Okay. Hi, Alice. I hope I'm saying your name right. Hi, my love. Your goodness surrounds me. I'm gonna sing at the top of my lungs. I'm singing your praise. I'm singing your praise. Yeah, I'm gonna sing at the top of my lungs. Boys, y'all go in the house. Don't do it to me. Come on, man. Move me. Hold on, y'all. Hi, everybody coming in. Hi, Jada. Hi, Just Stace. You will be the one I trust. You will be the one I love. Your goodness surrounds me. Your goodness surrounds me. You will never leave my side. You will never. Hello to everybody coming in. It's been so long. Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to see so many faces in the room. It's been an extremely long time since we have been live doing anything. There has been a lot happening and a lot going on. We were supposed to be back by the 5th, but me and Mrs. Holland just finished up our first. Guys, I'm outside. Okay, so if y'all hear sounds or noise in the background, please excuse it, but I am outside. I also have my boys out here, my 2 babies, my cats, and so they do a lot. And so if y'all see me looking around, hopefully I don't have to fuss too much, but if y'all see me looking around, it's because I'm trying to watch where they are, because they are now at the ages where they are climbing any and everything. And so just please excuse any noise y'all hear in the background. Me and Mrs. Holland just finished up our first vendors season here in Arizona, and to say that it was a successful season would be an understatement. We had such a great season, and at the same time it has kept us uber busy, and so that is one of the reasons why you guys have not seen us coming on as often as we were coming on, and one of the reasons why you guys didn't see us back with the time that we told you guys that my sister is in the house. My sister is in the house. Hey, Goddess Komet, how are you, my love? I just sent you a text message last night, just checking on you. I hope you guys are well. We hope that Ted is feeling better. But I'll hit you up after this. And so it's really good to be back. I'm so excited to see so many people in the room. But that is the reason why you guys have not seen us come back during the time that we said we would. But we are officially back. You guys know that Art of Ritual is returning on the 26th for our very first episode called The Betrayal of Medusa, the Head of Serpents. And I'm so excited to see you guys back. But that is not the reason why I'm here today. I was supposed to come on the 18th and to break down the message that our ancestor Aaliyah gave to me. You guys know this will be the second message that our ancestor Aaliyah has given to me to send forth to the people. The first one was really the message of Ascension, and really helping us to understand what Ascension is, and to alert us that Ascension is here. We're not waiting for Ascension to happen. Nothing
nothing is stopping Ascension from happening, but she was really and has been really sending the message forth and getting us prepared and helping us to understand that Ascension is upon us. And so you guys know that I talked a lot on our last live concerning Aaliyah. And if you guys have not had a chance to check out that live, I encourage you to go on over to our page once this live is over, and to check out those messages, because it was really an important live, so much so that we now see her energy coming back and being used by this character. Y'all see Link's going up the tree. I told y'all that he was going to be drawing. And so if y'all see Link's behind me, I told y'all they are at the age now to where they are climbing any and everything. And so his favorite thing to climb right now is this tree, our ancestors' tree that I'm sitting in front of. This is his favorite thing to climb. And so if y'all see him coming in and out of the frame, please excuse him. But we now see Aaliyah's energy coming back and being used by this character named The Weeknd. And so we're going to jump in and we're going to break down this message that she's come to bring back. And so today you guys can look at this live as a prelude to the beginning of our Art of Ritual episodes beginning again. And so this Art of Ritual is titled The Poisoned Ascension. Okay, The Poisoned Ascension. And so as you guys know, during our Art of Rituals, I like to go through the delivery of the messages that may be coming through with using etymology, okay, and also using metaphysical symbolism. And so what we're going to be doing today is walking through The Weeknd's name specifically, and we're going to see what the message is and what he's really trying to send, or what the message is that he's really trying to send as it relates to using the energy or the essence or the breath of Aaliyah, okay? And so we're going to jump right in. Again, guys, if y'all hear a lot of noise in the background, I'm outside. Our Coco Bean is outside, and that's who you guys hear barking. Y'all see Lynx in the tree again. And so just please excuse me for all the outside or the background noise that you guys are hearing behind me. And so let's jump in. So the first thing that I want to jump into is The Weeknd's name. We know that this is an artist that does not use his real name as it relates to his craft or as it relates to who he is in the music industry. And so when Aaliyah brought this message back to me, it was because he put out a song that's featuring her called Poisoned. And I don't know if any of you guys have had a chance to listen to this song, but in dissecting his name, I then had a chance to go back and to listen to the song, and it really validated everything that she was showing me as it relates to him and as it relates to what they're doing, as it relates to her energy. And so when we look at The Weeknd, and when I went on the search to find his real name breaks down to Abel Makakin Tesfaye, or Tesfaye. And so if I'm saying his middle name and his last name wrong, please forgive me. This man was born on February the 16th, 1990. And there's a lot of symbolism as it relates to their birthdays, and particularly the months that they were born, okay? And so I encourage you guys to go out and to look at their birthdays. He's fine, babe. Did he fall?
Oh, why would you jump there?
Did he fall?
You okay?
See, y'all, they're doing a lot.
That's honest. You don't jump.
And so his birthday is February the 16th. He was born in 1990. I don't have Aaliyah's birthday in front of me right now, but their birthdays are very eerily close to each other, okay? And when I went looking up the symbolism of Abel, it obviously took me to the Bible, okay? And where we see Abel, we see him attached to the story of Cain and Abel as it relates to the Bible. You guys can go and check out Hebrews 11:4 on your own time, and I encourage you to read a little bit and to dissect it on your own. But a few key points from the scripture: he was the second son of Adam and Eve, and he was also slain by his brother Cain in Genesis 4:1-16. stating that the Lord had respect unto Abel and his offering, but unto Cain his offering had no respect. And so I thought this was very interesting, because it brought up sacrifice and how we see sacrifice being displayed on this realm of existence that we live in right now. And so I remember saying a while ago during one of our lives where Spirit was really beginning to deal with us with how we view sacrifice and how we sacrifice things outside of us, really animals. When we look at the music industry, we see a lot of sacrificing of the body of the people that is ushered into the industry. We tend to see a lot of sacrificial sacrifices happening around birthdays, around special dates. Maybe the sacrifice comes from the symbology of their name. Maybe the sacrifice comes from the symbology of their birth dates. But we see a lot of sacrificing taking place as it relates to this realm of existence, really centering around sacrificing things or physical things that are outside of us, right? And so when we look at the scripture, Genesis through 14, as it begins to tell the story of Cain's sacrifice and of Abel's sacrifice, I thought it was interesting because me growing up in church, when we heard the story of Cain and Abel, he's fine, baby. When we would hear about the story of Cain and Abel in the Bible, you really didn't hear too much about a sacrifice that came from Abel. Okay, and in going into deeper research, you find that the deity Jesus didn't honor Cain's sacrifice, which was the blood sacrifice of his brother Abel. But at the same time that Cain was making a sacrifice, Abel had already made one as well. And the sacrifice that Abel made was the sacrifice of his mental, of his mind. Those of you who have followed our Art of Ritual during our first season know that we spoke extensively about the mind and about the divine mind, understanding the divine mind and how to use and operate in the realms of our divine mind, right? And so I thought that was interesting. And so Genesis goes on to speak about how God didn't honor Cain's sacrifice. And so Spirit began to download to me and begin to bring me back to when they were dealing with me about sacrifice, and how Spirit is really moving us and charging us to gain a deeper understanding and a better understanding of what we should be sacrificing as it relates to the things of spirit. And not only that, but a lot of these deities that we've been making physical sacrifices to, especially as it relates to animals, Spirit is bringing a stop to that. Okay, those offerings, those blood physical offerings will no longer be accepted as it relates to spirit. And Spirit is now really charging us to sacrifice in a different way and to understand sacrificing in a different way. And the spirits no longer want physical blood sacrifice. They don't want y'all blood no more. Okay, they don't want you out here harming the creation. They don't want us out here killing hens and killing chicken, even as we see the food industry change. In a lot of ways, we have been consuming physical sacrifices, and none of us have really ever stopped to consider, you know, what these animal beings have gone through in order to feed the world. Okay, none of us have really taken the time to really consider the sacrifices being blindly made on behalf of us as the collective, right? Or even us as the individual. And so what I really hear Spirit doing, and what I really see Spirit doing, is really putting a stop to how we eat. Okay, and to how we consume, and to how we offer offerings unto the spirit realm. And it's no longer going to be via physical or blood sacrifices. The new sacrifice is going to be the sacrifice of your mind. Okay, the sacrifice of you dying to aspects of yourself that no longer serve you. And you don't have to kill anything or take a life in order to do that. The sacrifice that must be made is the sacrifice of the self, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's continue, because I don't want to make this too long, but I also want to make sure that I'm getting out all of the information that Spirit gave to me. And so let's continue to move through Abel. When we look at the etymology of what Abel means, it translates into breaking up the AB as well as the EL, which is El and Abe. Okay, and so we're going to start with Abe. When we look at the etymology of Abel, it begins to break down the AB, which translates through Hebrew, and El translating through Hebrew giving us the picture or giving us the translation of source of God. Okay. And it goes on to say that Abel translates into not only the source of God, but the breath. Okay. Or transitoriness or transitory. Okay. So here we see that Abel is sending a message, or the weekend is sending a message speaking about the breath. Okay, Spirit is dealing with us as it relates to our breath. Okay, as the bird goes and flies directly in front of me. Spirit is beginning to speak to us through the element of air, so through our breath. Okay, without the breath of life in our bodies, without breath continuing to flow through us and around us, these vessels mean nothing. They can't animate themselves. They can't move. They can't think on their own, because it's the breath of life that allows these vessels to be animated. Okay. And so Abel translates into the source of God. And so we see the message coming forth where Spirit is really beginning to deal with us as it relates to us understanding who the source of God is and understanding how the source of God works, moves, and operates during this plane of existence, right? During this time. Okay, then it goes on to say that Abel also translates into transitory. So when we look at the breakdown or the definition of what transitory meant or means, it means not permanent. So this breath, this God source, these vessels that we're operating on this plane of existence with right now is not permanent. We're not permanent here. We're not going to stay here. Our lessons, the changes, the transformation, whatever our goals were for us coming back and incarnating back into this existence, whatever missions that Spirit gave us for such a time of us incarnating back into this existence is not permanent. It never has been permanent. It's meant for us to come down here, get the lessons that we're supposed to learn, understand this world, understand our existence, understand our missions, and be ready to return back into breath. Be ready to turn back into the source of God, because we are that. Okay? So let's keep going. Abel also translates into oneness with God. When we look at Ness, the breakdown of Ness from oneness, Ness translates into a headland or promontory. Okay? And it translates into or it denotes a state or condition. And so us existing during this time is basically showing us, the Spirit is really charging us to really begin to look at the state or the condition that the bodies are in. Okay? To look at the state or the condition of what the Spirit is in. To look at the state or the condition of what the breath is in. How are your lungs operating on behalf of you? Is your breathing shallow? Have you learned how to control the breath? Have you learned in taking the time to fix and to take care of the lungs? I was sharing with my sister tribe yesterday, as Spirit was really dealing with me about this whole notion of understanding the breath. And they really begin to show me and begin to tell me that the pressure as it relates to the air on this planet is about to change, and is about to change drastically. So the way in which we understood the lungs, the way in which our lungs operated with the world around us is going to begin to change drastically. And not only is it going to begin to change drastically, but it's going to begin to alchemically change the lungs. Okay? And so what I want to say is that we really need to prepare ourselves to really begin to see an uptick of sickness and an uptick of people dying as it relates to sickness. But understand that this has nothing to do with your governments. It has nothing to do with the illnesses that are being flooded into our atmosphere. It has nothing to do with generated viruses. And it has everything to do with us calling forth ascension as it relates to this planet. Okay, and as this planet begins to ascend and the frequency begins to raise higher, the body must also do so. Okay, so if you find yourself and have found yourself beginning to feel sickness, or you're beginning to feel your breathing change, your sleeping patterns as it relates to your breathing change, understand that you are in the middle of ascension. It has nothing to do with the flu. It has nothing to do with the generated virus, and it has everything to do with your ascension. And what Spirit is really charging us to do, and what Spirit is really asking us in this season, is have you prepared the body for resurrection? Because resurrection means to rise or to ascend. And I told y'all that this message is coming forth from our ancestor Aaliyah. And when we covered the message of Aaliyah the first time, and we really begin to break down her name, Aaliyah translates into ascension, or translated into to rise up, to ascend up. And now she's bringing back the message to us in dealing with the breath. Because when we understand the breath, we understand that the body is nothing without the breath. We understand that the breath of life is what animates our bodies, is what animates this vessel. Okay? If the breath was to stop right now as I'm sitting here talking to you, the first thing that will cut off is the brains of the body. So the brain up here in the mental, the brain as it relates to the heart, the brain as it relates to our stomachs, because we know there's 3 brains. We don't only have one. We have 3 brains that operate in the body that all work together to make this body function, okay? And not only to make the body function, but to help us understand our reality, to help us understand our environments, and to help us understand the foods and the things that we take into the body, okay? So able is translating into a state or condition relating to the breath, relating to the lungs. So we can expect to really begin to see a lot of ailments as it relates to the lungs, okay? I want to say that the situation that happened with the Travis Scott concert, that happened as it relates to the Travis Scott concert, was a prelude. And it was also a prophecy of what happens when the oxygen coming into the body and the carbon dioxide going out of the body no longer works in harmony. And when those 2 things begin to break down as it relates to the body, oxygen, right, or the breath of life cannot function. And so what we're going to begin to see is a lot of things, a lot of elements relating to the lungs, relating to asphyxiation, relating to just a lot of stories around people dying of shortness of breath, people dying of not being able to get the breath, or just things around asphyxiation, right? And so let's keep going. So able, when we look at the metaphysical symbolism of able, it translates into breath or vanity, transitoriness, a breath, a vapor. Able means breath, which places him in the air. So we're dealing with the element of air. Okay, when we talk about the breath, we're dealing with the element of air.